Crystal Beaudry here with Crystal's Clean Kitchen, where we help make clean eating a lifestyle. So we had a subscriber request a special episode, and so I made it as fast as I could. We are going to be making a copycat version of Starbucks's pumpkin cream cheese muffin, except we're going to be making it keto approved and low carb friendly and much better ingredients. And you know what? I think it tastes even better. So yep, you're right. I said it. There it is. You guys, this is so delicious. You're going to love it. Well, before we get started, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. All right, here is everything that we need. So we're going to start by browning a half a cup of some butter. I always buy grass-fed butter if it is at all possible because it's so much better for you. Then I'm going to use 1.5 cups of some almond flour and half a cup of some coconut flour. Ooh, hopefully I have enough. Then we'll be mixing in 2 teaspoons of some baking powder. Now I actually make my own baking powder. That way I know it's completely grain-free and aluminum-free. I have that recipe on my shorts on my site if you want to look that up. It's actually so incredibly simple to do. Then we need 1 teaspoon of some baking soda, 1 1/4 teaspoon of some Celtic sea salt. If you don't know anything about Celtic sea salt, it is the best salt for your body. It has 82 essential minerals, and it's so amazing. I'll make sure to link that down below. Now for our spices, we're going to do 2 teaspoons of some cinnamon, a half a teaspoon of some turmeric. Now I don't have any nutmeg, but you do want to add 1/4 teaspoon of some nutmeg if you have it, and then 1/4 teaspoon of some cloves. Now we're also going to need some pumpkin, obviously. So 1.5 cups of some pumpkin puree. Now I am not going to use the pumpkin pie stuff, which is a little bit more liquidy. So this is just like pure pumpkin. So 1.5 cups of that. Then we need 3 eggs. And for our sweeteners, you're going to do 1/2 cup of some maple syrup substitute. And then I'm going to be making my own brown sugar substitute by using the erythritol monk fruit mixture that I get from Costco. I buy this Yacon syrup from Amazon. It's actually pretty cheap, and it is so simple to just make your own brown sugar. Most of the time people will just use molasses, but Yacon syrup has less carbs in it than molasses does. All right, for our cream cheese filling, we're going to need 8 ounces of some cream cheese softened. We'll need 1/2 cup of some heavy whipping cream, 1/4 cup of sweetener. Now I'm going to be using some Allulose. It's a powdered sweetener and it works really, really well with like a cream cheese filling. Then we'll need 2 teaspoons of some vanilla and 1/4 cup of some coconut flour. All right, let's get into it. So the very first thing that we are going to be doing is putting our butter in a pan. We're going to be cooking it for probably about 3 minutes and making sure we're stirring it, of course, and we're going to be waiting for it to start to brown. Then we're going to pull it off the heat and let it cool down completely before we use it. So I have our 1/4 cup of the monk fruit erythritol mixture. I'm just taking about a teaspoon of Yacon syrup, mixing it together. Now with this stuff, you will actually have to put your hands in it because you want to get it completely combined. And if it is not brown enough to your liking, then you just add a little bit more of the syrup to it, and it will keep making it a darker color. All right, there you go. That's what it looks like. Super simple to do. Then we're going to be mixing together our dry ingredients. So we have 1.5 cups of some almond flour. Here is my 1/2 cup of the coconut flour. I have all the spices. So I have the 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, the 1/2 teaspoon of some turmeric, and the 1/4 teaspoon of some clove. If you have nutmeg, make sure to add in 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg as well. Next, I have all of my salt, my baking powder, and my baking soda. 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 1/4 teaspoon of some salt. Mix this together and set it aside. I'm going to be starting with my 3 eggs. Then I'm going to be adding in my brown sweetener. And I'm gonna just combine this for probably 30 seconds at least to get it a little bit more incorporated. Then we're gonna be adding in our 1/2 cup of some syrup. Now I actually made some syrup on my channel last year and it's so easy to do. So if you wanna make your own, it's probably a lot cheaper to make your own. Then we're gonna add in the 1.5 cups of some pumpkin. That is almost a whole can of pumpkin. There's just a little bit left. And I'm gonna use that to make myself some pumpkin chai tea. Yum! And I actually have a recipe for that on my channel as well. I think that might be in the shorts section. I pretty much have done it all. Okay, so we'll combine this. Once it's combined, we will slowly add in our dry ingredients. I'm also going to be adding in that browned butter. Now, if you're wondering what that browned butter is for, it just gives it a really good depth of flavor. And it's completely cooled off right now as well. Kind of gives it more of a nutty flavor, in my opinion. Then whenever you add dry ingredients to it, do it slowly. Also make sure that you're scraping the sides. There you go, it's all mixed and ready to go. Now I actually bought these silicone muffin liners from Amazon. I can link those for you if you need a pair. Benefit of mixing together coconut flour and almond flour. So if you just do a muffin with just almond flour, it's a little dense. If you do a muffin with just coconut flour, it's a little crumbly. So combining the two is definitely what you want to do. And if you're following other recipes, that's a recipe that you want to look for too. If you're wanting a specific recipe, look for what type of flour that they use because, like I said, you don't want it to be either too crumbly or too solid. Now, I always fill my muffins pretty full just because I always want like super big muffins. And traditionally with a healthier baking style, like a keto baking style, the muffins don't really puff up a ton just because we're using different type of flour. And it just operates a little differently. So that's why I always fill them pretty full. All right, so I have my block of cream cheese in here. I'm going to be beating this a little bit first to try to break it up. I'll stir it before I add anything else. I know I did soften it. I probably could have softened it a little bit more. Then I'm going to be adding in my 1/4 cup of my allulose. Now, if you taste this and you're like, oh man, that does not taste sweet enough, feel free to add a little bit more. I know allulose can sometimes be a little less sweeter than a 1-to-1 ratio for regular sugar. Put in my vanilla. Then I'm going to add in my 1/2 cup of some heavy whipping cream. I'm going to beat this a little bit first, and then I'm going to be adding in some coconut flour. The reason I'm doing that is because it's going to make it a little thicker, which is what I want. Instead of just a traditional cream cheese frosting, I want this a little thicker because it's going to go inside of the pumpkin muffins. Now would be a great time to do a little taste test to see if it's sweet enough. Yum, I like it. Now we're adding our coconut flour. I'm going to be taking my piping bag, putting it inside of a mason jar, and scooping my filling inside of it. This is going to make it a lot easier to pipe this inside of my muffins. Now I have tried to make these as even as possible. So we're going to take our piping bag, squeeze some filling into the middle before we cook it. This looks awesome. This is going to make these taste so authentic. If you don't have a piping bag, you could also use just a regular bag that you cut the edge off, the end off. That would work as well. In fact, my piping set, I've had it for quite a while and I lost some of the pieces for it. So as you can see, it doesn't have a tip on there. But that's okay. We're just using what we have. That's kind of like mom life, right? Now you want to do at least a tablespoon, I would say, of filling in the middle of these. It's kind of hard to tell because, you know, it's going in the middle. And then you want to end it up with a little bit at the top as well. So I baked these in the oven for 45 minutes. I did it at 325. Now I have a little bit of the filling left, so I am just going to kind of cover these a little bit more. It did get that really nice golden brown on top without it, but that's okay. I'm just going to give this a little bit more. It looks amazing though. I cannot wait to try these. I absolutely hate wasting frosting if I have it left. So I will just do as many as I can. I probably could have filled this a little fuller. Put a little bit more frosting on the top of each of them also. So if you wait to pop these out until they're cooled off a little bit, it should pop out really, really easily. That's why I love these silicone muffin liners. All right, here it is. Now, Kaden just got home from school. Are you excited to try these?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
How did you get the cream all the way inside of it?
It was awesome. We used a piping bag and just kind of piped it in there. It was fun.
That's cool.
Okay, what do you think?
It was really good.
Right? Okay, they're super moist, super creamy with that cream cheese on there. Oh, yum. I'm serious. I think these are better than Starbucks's pumpkin cream cheese muffins. They're amazing. And of course, they're grain-free, they're sugar-free. They're so good. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now, I know this had a ton of steps to it, but it was fairly simple to do. You're going to love them. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure to go do that because we have so many awesome recipes coming your way. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.